jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show.
Join us as we cover many an insane movie and numerous cult TV phenomenons. Are you ready to get jacked up? Are you with us? Then listen on.
Listener discretion is advised. It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show.
Weird. Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? But it's our kind of weird. So, oh my God,
And I'm only on my first drink.
oh, Jesus, how many are we gonna go through just to get to the end of the episode?
I'll let you know. I'll let you know at the end.
Well, Steve does have another podcast at 7:30, so.
Oh, wait, it'll be done before then, I swear. These movies, I didn't know how anyone was gonna feel about it, so I do not want to hog too much time. Okay, so here for another round of Russian roulette movie style. Our Steve and Izzy from the ILFM. How are you?
Hey, everybody.
It's EILFM for anyone who missed that. Oh,
Everything I learned from movies.
woo!
Yes. Dinos and drinking.
Yeah.
The house that screams, David Jaman. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Nice to meet you too. Pleasure
Yes.
to be here.
Yeah.
Play for rock and roll, video games, and movies galore. Oh.
Yes, yeah, horror movies particularly.
Yep. The worst we might find. I don't know. Probably some of the best that are just so bad it's good. Because this is one franchise, Pumpkinhead, in all of things. I have heard so many people talk about it time and again, hype it up, bash it, love it, and so let's just circle around. How on earth did any of us come across this unusual suspect?
Well, you guys
well-
start. I'm the rookie here.
I know for me, I didn't know about it until my wife Izzy told me about it 7 or 8 years ago around Halloween time. And then looking into it, it's like, what? Directed by Stan Winston? Starring Lance Henriksen?
Yeah.
How have I not heard of this? And
Absolutely.
yeah. So I don't know, babe. How did you get introduced to it?
I got introduced to it by my high school best friend. It was one of the VHSs she owned, because we all. Well, I don't know about you guys. Steve and I are old, and there was a time where the only movies you really watched were the 7 VHSs your parents owned, and hers included Pumpkinhead and Young Sherlock Holmes.
There you go.
Oh my God, you're so lucky. My parents would have had Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and yeah, you guys are lucky.
Yes, I had Ghostbusters, Revenge of the Nerds, and Pink Floyd's The Wall, which
Oh.
yeah.
We had a bootleg version of Treasure of the Sierra Madre, A Boy and His Dog,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Big Trouble in Little China.
That had to be scarring, the last one. Damn. Oh. Is that a mirror for all the crazy stuff today? Oh my God. So basically, yeah, no, it's not uncommon to just watch the same recordings in the collection because repetition is the best kind of movies, if not flattering. But I mean, this was just so weird because I could not track down a copy. It was rarely shown on Sci-Fi. They were mainly showing part 2 more than they were part 1.
Good
But
old Blood Wings.
Because the rights were cheaper.
Well, there you go. But it's just so funny how it's anywhere I go, this was ranked as one of the worst movies of all time. But each time you read about
What?
Stan Winston, yeah, I know. But what's weird is each time you read about Winston, this was, of course, I couldn't tell if it was his people or just other people who had them. They would always say, "Excuse." one of the most unusual cult films of all time. You know. It was just
So this movie came out, I was in the Air Force, because you guys said you're old, but I guarantee I'm older than both of you put together.
I don't know about that, but
I'm 55.
oh, okay. Well, both of us put together is like 75. So
Okay, so I was in the. I remember I was in the Air Force, and a big weekend for us was like go to Blockbuster and rent movies. And I remember when Pumpkinhead came out on video, so I remember seeing this movie right away. I didn't see it in a theater, but I saw it as soon as it came out on video, and I like this movie a lot. It's got a lot going for it.
yeah,
The sequels less so.
Yeah, it's the usual horror sequels. They usually kind of take that steep dive with the second one and then kind of level out by the fourth or fifth.
And always like with the fourth one, they bring back a character from the first one to try to give it some cred, and it never really worked. I don't know if they did that in this one, but that always seems to be the pattern in these movies. And the one thing, the most upsetting thing to me in this movie are Lance Henriksen's teeth. What's going on there? He has these false teeth in this film. It's a little off-putting. He liked to like make himself look a little more backwards, I guess. I don't know.
Guess.
Yeah, he was just too clean cut for it. He has to look like somebody who makes his own clothes.
Yeah, he does look out of skin.
What's a bigger puzzle is the last two sequels were filmed in freaking Romania, and ironically, this shares a Hellraiser cast. That's right, Doug Bradley's in one of them, but himself. But what's so weird is like I don't think that those were even filmed around the same time as his crazy Hellraiser movie, which you guys just reviewed. And I'm like, so what was the point of going overseas there? Was it just part of the vacation pack or what? I don't know. Because I read the Hellraiser book about chronicling the making of the first 8 movies, and that was part of why Lance did that. He's like, oh, vacation, I get to travel around, see parts of Italy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong, but just interesting how out of all movies he's done, I've seen a lot of people talking about him being in this one, but for whatever reason, I don't think they made the connection that he's in it. They just make the more connection to Winston and everything, and just how it's just an unusual premise. So this is definitely a kind of movie. It's going to vary by crowd. I mean, there's a reason they made a Misfits song of this. It's just that quirky and everything. But I think the reason everyone can kind of get into this is it's just short and simple. You don't have to watch just endless people walking and wondering what the fuck's going on. So I mean,
yeah, they get to the point pretty quick. Like for those who haven't seen the movie, it's basically about some kids coming through the boonies a bit, go to a gas station. They're going around their motorcycle. One of them lands on this little kid, Lance Henriksen's son, who's like 7 or 8 and kind of looks like the kid from Jerry Maguire.
He does. He looks exactly like. In fact, I wish he was the kid from Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but the kid gets killed, and then the father, all sorts of grief-stricken or whatever, goes to see this like witch in the backwoods and summons this vengeance demon, Pumpkinhead. But then starts having second thoughts like almost immediately, and hijinks ensue.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Like initially, he thought like, okay, I'm going to summon this vengeance demon. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, right.
I'm always surprised when people do stuff like that in these horror movies, and they're like, but I didn't see this coming.
It's definitely the most unusual cast of symbols. I mean, you got John Carpenter, veteran Buck Flowers. You got.
I was going to bring him up. He's so great in everything. He's just that face, He's just so great.
And the voice, the crazy drunk driver.
He's been in so many movies, and he's always that guy. I think he was known as like that guy. The Fog and Escape from New York, and just thousands of movies. It's so good.
Oh yeah, we talked about him in the Wishmaster quadrilogy sum up.
Oh
but,
yeah.
I mean, I know you guys are loving part 4, but I mean, we had to bring up with that one just the outrageous just shift in tone in the last 2 sequels. Is like, man, they cannot decide what they want to be. But with this, kudos to Tom Woodruff, Gizmo operator from Gremlins himself, being the monster. And I mean, he's best known for working with Paul Tippett and other Winston alums. But I mean, out of all the monsters, and I mean, they didn't have to get a giant basketball player or anything. They're just like, yeah, the guy who designs the monster gets to be the monster.
Yeah, since they're already on like stilts with the like backwards like demon legs and stuff. Yeah, and all right, let's talk about the design of Pumpkinhead here.
He can't be. He's one of the best movie monsters no one knows about.
So it's not just like an elderly xenomorph. Like nobody else thinks that. Okay.
No,
I
it
don't know.
definitely,
And he changes throughout the film.
Well,
I think
yeah,
it's
true, it does
Dracula. If Dracula and Alien had a baby, you get Pumpkinhead.
That definitely makes me feel like the Queen. It harkens back to the Queen alien from Aliens. I think,
I wonder why.
The drooling. Yeah, I know. And that does change, doesn't he? He starts to look like Lance Henriksen towards the end. Doesn't he sort of change into him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like his face starts to morph into him.
Yep.
I think this creature's fantastic.
Oh shit! You know what it's like? It's like the spoiler alert for the end of Alien Resurrection, but it's like the xenomorph human hybrid kind of thing. Only not so derpy looking.
You just want to give it a hug, don't you? Give it a hug.
Yeah, those big old eyes. And
Mama.
No.
There you go. It's definitely not scary, and I think that's the thing with this movie. It's trying to be scary, and it's just not scary, but it is kind of interesting.
I mean, it's that he's like big, and it has like the big teeth and everything.
He's got a great demon face on him.
Yeah.
And he takes such pleasure in what he's doing. He loves his job.
He loves his job.
We should all be so lucky to love a job like that, you know?
It's a great job.
Oh, when he's like playing with the one guy's head, like when he's dead or whatever, like holding it up and just dropping it, like, oh no, I broke my toy almost.
And he's like, really, it takes that girl's face and he's like rubbing her up against the window. He's like, look what I got. I made this for you in shop.
Yeah, this is definitely a movie. It's at the heart of its soul. It's basically he's trying to be like Frankenstein, but then it was marketed as a Friday the 13th type movie, and is this kind of one of those, you can tell Winston and the studio guys are totally going at it like, I want this. No, I want this.
I think the creature is what sets it apart. This movie at its core is fairly typical. Bunch of rich city kids go into the backwoods and run afoul of some locals, disrespectfully or whatever, and something terrible happens to them. But I think the creature is what sets it apart.
Basically,
I think it elevates the creature.
A slasher film and like a very classic monster movie, like you said, like it's very Frankenstein, very classic. Like you don't see the monster until 2/3 of the way through the movie, and it's like, people run afoul of the monster kills everybody. But then it also has that like Freddy, Jason, whatever, like slasher film bit to it.
Right. You gotta have the synthesized music and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the moral at the end where Lance Henriksen's like, oh my God, what have I done? I've got to help save these kids and, stop the Pumpkinhead the only way I know how.
He shoots himself in the head, and even that doesn't work. It's like, God damn it.
So now we know. So Lance has been killed by a Terminator, a Predator, Pinhead, and himself. Because only he can kill himself, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, he also got killed by a oh my God, what are they called? The like chatterbox.
Cinnabite.
Cinnabite. He got killed by a Cinnabite too.
That's what I meant by Pinhead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, unless Pinhead's not a Cinnabite, and
No, he definitely is. Sorry, out of my brain.
but I don't remember if it was specifically Pinhead or one of the other Cinnabites with that little sickle on a chain thing. I don't know. We just watched the movie, but it's like, they all just kind of showed up there at the end, and it's it's a Hellraiser movie.
That was not a Hellraiser movie. That was another movie made that shoved some Cinnabites up its butt.
Yeah.
Wow, there's an image.
Yeah.
And Lance Henriksen gets killed by the sun in the dark.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
So he's been killed by the best.
Yeah.
Love that movie so much. Love that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, and he got killed by Nick Cage.
Wait.
Spoiler alert, Mom and Dad.
Oh, you're talking about.
Yes. Oh, and Jean-Claude and Howard Target.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
He's been killed by everybody, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
He's been killed by the best.
Your filmography, real quick.
There you go. Instead of who shall I kill, who shall I be killed by? Oh,
Apparently, in this movie, he came up with his costume, like his clothing and stuff, all on his own. Apparently, he's very method. And I was reading up on this, and he really came up with the look of his character pretty much all on his own. He wanted the teeth, like he came up with that idea for the false teeth to make him look a little more country. I guess that's stereotypical, but it's a movie, so what do you want? And came up with the clothing he wore and stuff, pretty much on his own.
He's always been the method kind of guy.
Seems like he's very intense on set. Seems like he'd be a very intense person to work with.
Oh,
I've heard he's actually a sweethearted dude, but when he filmed that one zombie film that shot here in Dallas, Daylight's In, but the only thing he was cranky about was the food being late, but that's fair.
Hell, I'd get cranky about that too.
Yeah, but I don't think he's batshit crazy, but he is one of those, he knows how his character walks, talks, does all that. So, I think this movie just benefits, instead of just boring you with an origin story, it pretty much tells you everything the first 10 minutes and then just goes batshit nonstop, much like the Warlock movies, which we'll be covering tomorrow. Yeah. It just didn't have Julian Sands chanting spells and going into a western town. Although, does this say where it's set? I don't recall where they said this was set. It definitely seems like a North Carolina-esque kind of area.
Yeah, somewhere in like Appalachia.
I definitely got Appalachia from it too.
Yeah, I don't know if it does it. Yeah, I don't know. It just says the country. It doesn't say.
And it's just so funny how we brought up how these are rich kids. I guess.
Well, I mean, that's my impression. They've got the big pickup truck and the dirt bikes. You know, they obviously aren't from around there.
Yeah, and they're obviously like renting a cabin somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, see, I didn't get that they were renting it. I think one of them, their like family owns it.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And right, and then when they get to the abandoned church, I always kind of got the sense that that was some relatives of operations, but everyone seems to just generally just know each other, so they might as well be his family.
So in the church, the kid says it's kind of buried under a lot of the wind noise and all that, but he goes, "Yeah, they built this church 4 years ago. I guess nobody here's that religious."
Yeah.
So that church in this movie was only 4 years old. It burned down like the moment they built it.
Yeah, that's a bad sign when you're building a new church and it burns down. The day you complete. Oh, maybe we should have built it here.
What's with all these burnt crosses in the front? Yeah, don't worry about those.
That's fine.
This was a Lutheran church or something.
You're gonna love it here.
What the fuck?
We don't take no Protestants here.
Baptist.
Unitarian.
Stay here.
The dark side of Pumpkinhead.
Did I just hear one of your cats there in the back there?
Nope, that's not us.
Oh no, my cat's messing with the porch door and it squeaks. Stop it.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
She wants to go out on the porch.
It's like, oh no, this podcast is being infiltrated by his vengeance demon.
Yeah, believe me, my cat is a vengeance demon. So. Stop it.
We used to have one of those.
Yeah, she runs the place.
Good old Castor Troy.
But you're right. But they don't really get into the demon's backstory. She just summons him, and you get to learn the rules of the rules of it as Lance Henriksen's learning it. That okay, I'm linked to this thing. If I get hurt, it gets hurt. And I can see what it's doing through its eyes. You learn that through the movie. It's not. I like that they don't front load that you get to learn that with him.
Do you feel like this is in the same universe as Near Dark? Since we're always making these wise-ass jokes about what movies are part of which universe. Because, I mean, he could be a vampire. Got infected by it.
And his character in Near Dark is pretty southern, country kind of guy. Right? He talks about fighting like he fought for the Confederacy. And...
Oh, God.
Oh, shit. Maybe that's it. Maybe after, he... turns his head to a canoe and gets shot a couple more times by the girl. The corpse of Pumpkinhead starts on fire. Once that fire simmers down, then he just like wakes up like,
and then he went to an
I'm a vampire now.
And then he went to an but then he went to an orthodontist at some point because he's got his teeth fixed.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, well, he had money. You got.
Well, say when you're a vampire, maybe you just like reverted to like good teeth, good posture, and everything.
Oh man, vampires get everything.
Right.
Well, remember, he's the one who gets buried back in the pumpkin patch.
Oh yeah, that's right. With the
burns up.
necklace thing,
and he gets to be the next pumpkin, which is kind of a dark ending because he was trying to redeem himself for calling the thing up in the first place, and now he's cursed to be the next one. Kind of a dark, But she told him, the witch, in her defense, the witch told him.
Yeah.
It's not, now you thought it was going to be that easy.
Right. This is definitely a movie that benefits from just being WTF every minute. It's definitely one of those, it went for multiple rewrites, and it's only complemented more by Richard Stone. That's right, the same Richard Stone of Tasmania, Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, and Tiny Toon Adventures, scoring every scene.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I thought the soundtrack sounded so goofy. I'm like, oh, well, because he does every Saturday morning comedy. Oh. So, how did you guys come across part 2, which stars, that's right, CSI New York veteran Hill Harper in his debut?
Yeah, I'm going to confess that I haven't seen any of the sequels. So you guys are going to have to. I'll just sit here and keep to myself.
Yeah, see, we watched them on like Amazon Prime, but it was like right after the first time we had watched it, so probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I just remember the names being kind of comical, like Blood Wings and.
Right.
Yeah. Anytime you've got the sequel has the original title with an asterisk, and then like it's not going to be good. It's just when they have to, I just never. That's always a warning sign to me.
It's definitely a movie you should watch, not for the what the fuck plot, but for the what the fuck names attached to it. I mean, you got Lena Quigley not getting naked. You got sitcom star Soleil Fry.
That's right. Andrew Robinson's in it too, right? The guy from Hellraiser. Yeah, Garrick. From Deep
and you're
Space
going for Deep Space Nine, yeah. So, I mean, then you got freaking Roger Clinton Jr. That's right, the half-brother of President Bill Clinton.
Oh, jeez.
And it goes on and on and on. But, I mean, basically this movie benefits from having the most bizarre car chase ever. They're being attacked by the monsters, and basically everybody just starts taking out guns and firing while they're just speeding at high volume. And all I can say is this is basically the reason you should watch it. It's the last movie I've seen in this franchise, and I don't know what else to say. It just get out a beer and just start laughing. I mean, what else?
Yeah, I remember the second one being pretty good and entertaining, and then like number 3, like we kind of had to force ourselves through, and then like for the fourth one, it's like, well, do we watch it? Like, oh, it's got a better IMDb, like 4 instead of like 3.5 or something. So like, let's give it a look, and it was like, all right, it was all right.
I keep waiting for you guys. I know you guys are always doing the RT score. Guess the IMDb score, and then guess the user score, and then guess
which one?
For the second one?
Just in general, just in the future. I'm wondering when you're going to change from Rotten Tomatoes to IMDb.
Oh, well, like for the first one, I'm guessing that's probably like a 6 or a 7 because it's a pretty good one. But yeah, probably the second one's like a 4, 4.5 maybe.
I looked them up too. I wanted to see which one was considered the best of the other 3. And they were all pretty much the same, like a 4.6, 4.5.
Oh, even the original?
No, other than the original. I'm talking about the 3 sequels.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And it was just surprising because I would have thought there'd be some inconsistencies, but basically everybody found these watchables, even with part 3 and 4 having the most bizarre Rob Zombie style editing.
Yeah.
Oh shit! There was a Pumpkinhead video game.
Yes,
oh, shit.
Electronic Arts. I was going to transition to that, but this was just weird. Just looking this up. No, that's fine. But what's weird is just like. They did one. They called it after the sequel, Blood Wings, but it had more to do with part 1, and it offered virtually nothing except it basically sounds like the From Dusk Till Dawn game, where there's just clips from the movies that play at random intervals. Hey, there's an Easter egg. Hey, collect.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures on IMDb, and it looks like a Wolfenstein game almost. Like, then it pops up with the CD-ROM or whatever videos. Okay, wow.
They call it a Doom ripoff, but I don't know why. That doesn't look like even Pumpkinhead on the cover. That looks like a bad Howling sequel.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey,
Feeling down? Feeling low? Not enough podcasts about movies in your life? Why not try
They must be destroyed on sight.
the new Podcast Cure-All, sure to get you right with the world and on a path to better living. We have exploitation, we have Italian horror, we have zombies, we have slashers, we have crime films, we have spaghetti westerns, we even have sci-fi and sex comedies. So take a dose of
They must be destroyed on sight.
as needed, and let the hosts, Lee Russell, Daniel Harper, Paul Romali, and the odd guest host cure what ails you.
Warning, may cause atrophy, African consumption, black fever, bone shave, chin cough, colic, cramp colic, dropsy of the brain, elephantitis, grocer's itch, jaundice, mania, miasma, mortification, palsy, Pott's disease, rheumatism, scurvy, St. Anthony's fire, summer complaint, and worm fit in some people. Consult a physician before listening.
Hey, I heard you like movies.
I heard you like to hustle.
I heard you like podcasts.
Well, guess what?
There's a podcast for you out there called The Home Video Hustle.
Damn right.
Every Friday, we talk about whatever movie PJ picks out the bag. What does that mean? Every Wednesday on our YouTube page, I put a bunch of movies in a bag, and PJ picks one out at random. And then we just watch it. We talk about it for maybe like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever we feel like doing, wherever the conversation leads us.
But do we actually talk about the movie?
Most of the time.
Ah.
Tangents galore.
Yes.
So believe me, we may be a movie podcast, but it's not always about movies. We might talk about video games,
Music.
Yeah, that's the big one, music. Sometimes we might get a little bit of politicalness in there.
Yes.
Sometimes we may just, we know what we like to do. We like to tell stories, PJ.
Ah, yes.
I am the master storyteller
Yes.
of the podcast realm. Undefeated. So if you like to hear about movies, video games, whatever foolishness comes to our mind, the most random stuff you can think of, check out the Home Video Hustle. You can find us on the Stitchers,
Yes.
the Google Play,
Yes.
Apple Podcasts,
What else?
Podbean,
What else?
Podcast Addict,
Goddamn.
all that. Ain't no reason you can't get your hustle on. We everywhere, worldwide, baby.
Hustle, motherfucking hustle.
Hey, we can't cuss in the promo, PJ.
Ah.
We gotta be family friendly. There may be podcasts out there that don't want his hair say
Ah. Ah.
all
Yeah.
that good fun stuff.
Well, you.
Don't run the listeners away, PJ.
Ah, I'm sorry.
But this is going kind of long.
Yes.
So we'll end this and say, hey, check out the Home Video Hustle every Friday on all the various podcast outlets. Peace.
Peace.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. And while Witch didn't make it to the top of the world, he did make the Gangs of Hollywood podcast. So join the gang and enjoy a movie review podcast about movie gangs, gangsters, mobsters, and the mayhem they cause. You can find GOH Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at GOH Pod at www.gohpod.com, as well as your favorite podcast listening app. And remember, say hello to your little friend for me.
If you take two old punk rockers who are past their prime, put them in front of a movie screen and give them a podcast, what do you get? Cinema Punks. Cinepunks. It's the mixtape of movies.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am in the most sincerest of senses disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
all popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was
How
going to be a
did you
rough
watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Hey everybody, I'm Corey. And I'm Zach, and we're the hosts of Podcasting After Dark, a cast dedicated to late-night horror and sci-fi of the 80s and 90s, often found on HBO and Cinemax.
You know, the movies your parents didn't want you watching as a kid. You can find us every other week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and Stitcher.
This is what you want.
This is what you get.
It's time, let's check our cue, baby. Pair it with a couple brews, baby. We love good movies. We love the bad ones too. So we watch them all and pass their lessons on to you. Oh yeah. Everything I learned from movies helps to make life a little bit groovy. With a one-last plot holes and gratuitous movies. It's time to get busy with your friend Steve and Izzy at eilfm.podbean.com.
Welcome to Who Was She podcast. I am your host, Tara Jabari. After a decade working in documentaries, marketing, and all things digital media, I found that podcasting is a strong medium to share stories. After years of producing for others, I decided to start my own biographical podcast. Who Was She will focus on the life of a woman throughout Baha'i history. The first season is about Lydia Zamenhof. Lydia's story explores the subjects of the power of language and faith. Her father invented the universal language Esperanto, and she came from a Jewish family and became a Baha'i. She grew up during World War I and was killed during World War II in a concentration camp, despite heroic efforts to save her life. How can one person's life intersect with so many others, connect across borders, and inspire a biography which inspired this podcast? Over the next few weeks, I will share her story with you and the lives that were most affected by her and those who affected her life as well. They include her father, Ludwig Zamenhof, her spiritual mother, American journalist Martha Root, and the Baha'i German soldier Fritz Mako, who worked for the resistance undercover while having to serve the Nazi Party. I want to thank the author Wendy Heller and George Ronald Publishing for their blessing to let me use Heller's biography, Lydia, The Life of Lydia Zamenhof, Daughter of Esperanto, as a main and instrumental resource for this podcast. So please subscribe and learn about this amazing woman who traveled through 3 continents in an effort to bring unity through the power of language. You can also find more information on our Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest at Who Was She Podcast. Music was composed and performed by Sam Red. I am your host, Tara Jabari. Join us next time as we begin our journey about Lydia Zamenhof.
Hi everybody, it's Mac Jackson. I wanted to invite you to a new site called the Forever Adventure Network. This website has everything: pictures, videos, blogs, There's original music by Harmony Constant, 2 podcasts. One is the MacGyver podcast, where we celebrate Richard Dean Anderson, his iconic roles, and how it's influenced our lives. There's episode discussions, interviews, and life conversations. The second podcast is the Never Gets Old podcast, where we celebrate all the best things that we love in life, from TV, movies, music, and comics. The site is also the home for the MacGyver SG-1 audio series, an ongoing adventure series that continues the adventures of MacGyver and SG-1. There are also multiple stores to choose from for all of your pop culture and adventure needs. Come on by and check us out today. And thanks for joining the adventure.
Are you sick of the same old stale podcasts? Well, then join Vanessa and Darren as they dissect movies of all kinds. The 2 lifelong cinema lovers bring their favorites, curiosities, and first-time watches to the operating table and inject them with a healthy dose of snark. Then there's the waiting room, where they examine books and short stories. So just look for them on Apple Podcasts and where fine podcasts are available. They're part of the Legion Podcast Network. Follow them on Twitter at VDClinicPod. Join them on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/VDClinicPod. Or email them at vdclinicpod@gmail.com. They're ready to cure what ails you. And still, they just might be a little contagious.
We now continue with our program.
Did you guys know that I was reading up on this on the original anyway? It was based on a poem. That's where they came up with the idea of the screenplay.
Yeah, I saw that in the credits. Yeah.
I have it here in front of me. I won't read it because it's a little bit long, but it's actually a really good poem, and you should seek it out and read it. And you totally could see the movie in this poem. It's actually a really good poem.
So basically,
Ed Justin is the author of the poem. Google that.
Does he consider himself the essential Edgar Allan Poe of that generation?
I looked him up. I couldn't find too much about the guy, except that he wrote this. But seek it out if you're a fan of this movie. Seek it out.
It's probably way more grim and morbid as opposed to fun.
Yeah, I love looking up trivia of the movies I'm going to talk about, and I love the fact that the guy who plays Pumpkinhead in this, Tom Woodruff, did Gremlins, and so was the dog. The dog in this was also the dog in Gremlins, apparently.
Oh, Gypsy!
Yeah, they must have the same agent.
I was wondering about that. Yeah, that's right. So
yeah, the dog's name was Mushroom, right? And he played. Yeah, I thought that was funny that they worked together. Hey, like the craft services table. Hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. You know, sausages. Starts humping his leg because he knows him. Oh, great.
I will admit the dog is very underused. I was expecting him to bite Pumpkinhead a bit more or do something else, but the dog's basically there to bark.
Gypsy does give us a little insight into when Pumpkinhead first starts attacking everybody, Lance Hendrickson doesn't know what's happening. He has these visions and sort of has a weird seizure, and it cuts to Gypsy growling and all of that. And then later when Lance decides to go and rescue some of the kids, and they meet up with one of his Appalachian neighbors and his dog, the dog attacks Lance Hendrickson, not the monster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because he's the source of the power, not the creature.
The dog can sense it. That's a great point.
That was definitely a plot twist. At first, you're like, "Whoa, wait, this bad dog."
Damn it, Gypsy! Yeah.
I loved you better on the SOL anyway. I couldn't resist. But so this gets a Dark Horse Comics series years later. And it is to be continued with no resolution.
Yeah, it just died off.
But I think it is neat that Sideshow, being loyal to Stan Winston and all these other cult monsters, did actually design a statue of the monster. So it's interesting how this has lived on, and yet I rarely can come across anyone who knows about this damn thing. It's like, really?
See, that's interesting because me being a little bit older, I thought this movie was much more well known than you're saying. Maybe it's a little because I'm just a little older and I was like, in my 20s when it came out. But I thought this movie was really well known. Is it not really well known?
I think it's well known, but I think more people know about it than they have actually like seen it, unless they frequent video stores or something. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like Silent Night, Deadly Night. Like people know they exist, but it's like, have you seen them or the sequels? And it's like, well, I think I saw one of them, but I couldn't tell you which one. It was on late one night, and there was like it's that kind of.
Yeah, maybe, because I'm a horror movie wonk, so maybe, yeah.
Yeah, well,
that's a good parallel. It's definitely a Vestron home video type thing. It's like, I know I saw one of the leprechauns. I don't know which one.
It was the one with the leprechaun who killed people? Yeah. That one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What does the box art say? Oh, it just says you should see this. Okay, that doesn't tell me.
It's that one where the poster, the guy's like face is kind of stretched out and it's glowing green. All the stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Oh, Steve, I think you're talking about Waxworth.
Maybe he had, or maybe House of Wax. He had.
Oh God! So, if you had to put Pumpkinhead in a versus movie, what would you dare conjure up with, Steve?
Oh, I already have my answer. The Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. They're practically cousins. They're practically cousins anyway.
Yeah.
Wow. Just made it a little too rapey now.
No, it's not rapey.
Well, the filmmaker is. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But we didn't know that at the time. Well, at least I didn't. Okay. I know, but that's interesting you say it, because if you go back and watch the Jeepers Creepers movie now, you totally get that vibe from that guy. You can, you see there's a lot of like bare male torsos and stuff. I mean, it just takes a whole different light once you know that guy's backstory. Like Powder, like that movie Powder that he directed.
Well, how
Powder's
about
so weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you read about, but not to get into that. But I think the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers and Pumpkinhead.
As close as I can make that analogy is probably Nature of the Beast, which was directed by the Jeepers Creepers guy and has Lance Henriksen and Eric Roberts. But I say that just because it has a similar kind of just bizarre, distorted, in the desert kind of feel. So that's where I'm going with that. But that movie is definitely more creepy than Jeepers Creepers. And I'm not saying.
I like the first Jeepers Creepers. I like it a lot. I think it's
I honestly don't think I've seen it. Like I know it's the like scarecrow thing or whatever, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's got some really twisted humor and a little bit like Pumpkinhead, where he takes some sadistic pleasure in what he's doing. He really enjoys his work. He's not a vengeance demon like Pumpkinhead, but still, it's got. I think I can see some parallels between the creatures, at least in my brain.
I thought that was every creature.
Well, they're not. Not all of them take
either
so
that
much pleasure.
Or I want to hug you, and oops, I accidentally killed you.
All right, guys. I have two ideas for like little versus matchup things.
Yeah.
The first one is, of course, with the Mike Myers and the Halloween thing, because Pumpkinhead, Halloween, it kind of goes together. They're both like these slow-moving, unstoppable forces just going around killing people. That'd be great. The other one I have, because I was trying to think of like another vengeance monster or something like that, but then I was like, what if we paired it up with John Wick? And he's called forth Pumpkinhead to help him exact revenge in like number 4 when he's going against all the assassins. And it's like,
so you have to kill John Wick to kill the Pumpkinhead?
Exactly. It's more like a team up with Pumpkinhead, and they're just slaying through all these people. Then towards the end, I'm not going to give the ending away, but it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, it's going to be good. Yeah, I could see them like quipping and high-fiving each other, and like doing like quips, like 80s action movie quips to each other. That'd be great. That would be great.
I have it. This might be an alternate ending that gets only shown on the hard-to-find European TV version edit, but I'll hit it away. Pumpkinhead is voiced by Hugo Weaving, and then after John Wick is defeated, he wakes up in the Matrix.
Oh shit, I'm in.
And
Alright,
then
so
says,
mine,
caused
I'm
a chain
thinking-
reaction at the speed of 45 gigabytes per second.
Nice.
Nice. All right, how about you, babe?
I was thinking somebody calls upon Pumpkinhead to destroy the creature from Don't Kill It, the demon
Oh.
that hops from body to body. And then we have Dolph Lundgren not just trying to catch the demon from Don't Kill It, but also trying to figure out who called up Pumpkinhead and how to stop it. Because Pumpkinhead's just going through killing a bunch of people and going like, well, damn, now I gotta chase it again.
Oh man, there you go. And is there an appearance of the Lavantula creature? It's by those same guys, so that's why I asked.
Yes, hey, maybe save it for the sequel. Mike Mendez can bring back the police academy, the surviving police academy cast. It'll work out.
Yeah, that one guy who made the funny noises. Pumpkinhead could kill him quickly. Please kill him twice. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but please kill him. Please kill him a lot.
I hear Michael Winslow's a nice guy.
Michael, you know his name. Okay.
Oh, hey, raise your hand if you own all 7 Police Academy movies.
Yeah. Oh my God, no, I can't do it.
Hey, that was the best sick day ever. I watched all of those on YouTube back.
Wow. I would have to take a sick day after watching all of them.
I've been on a side note. I think they actually should have G.W. Bailey in there, Captain Harris himself, but as a serious role, be more like Tom Atkins in Halloween Free. Stop it! Just shotgunning the shit out of everything, even if it's just a random noise. Just a trigger happy.
I was watching the Boys from Brazil the other day, and I'm like, I can't believe that Steve Guttenberg went on to Police Academy.
He did that? Oh my God!
He's at the very beginning, yeah, and he's great in it. Yeah, I love that.
That's great.
Love that movie so much. Yeah, yeah, it's like, oh my God.
Guttenberg was amazing, but I don't know. G.W. Bailey just always came off to me as the real star, just because he had the impossible task of keeping a straight face.
Right. He was like Sergeant Hulka in Stripes.
Oh, he was in Stripes, but he was also he says.
Well, no, not the same actor, but the same sort of character. Yeah, he's the one who has to be the straight man.
Well, it's interesting to bring that up because they both kind of had similar careers. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Usually, right.
And yet, being a jackass, and yet you have to be the straight guy. I don't know what direction they could possibly be giving you. But on a side note, Steve, Izzy, and David, I've been going for the whole Closer Major Crimes saga. I'm just one of those. It was always on, but I never saw it in chronological order. I shared a photo on social media, and everyone instantly thought I was sharing something from Police Academy. I'm like, no, it's a funny show intentionally, but it ain't it. Oh, God. So I don't know why they haven't done anything else with this. It seems like they've acknowledged it. It's surprisingly been included on Fangoria's 101 best horror films you've never seen. So
yeah, which again, when I saw that, I'm like, what do you mean you've never seen? I just can't believe that many people don't know that this movie. Maybe it's just it must just be me. It just must be me.
I don't know. I was just surprised at the opening credits. Instead, you get MGM De Laurentiis. I was expecting Charles Band, Full Moon Entertainment.
Save it for the sequels. No, I don't know.
Oh my fucking God. That was the best part of the newer seasons of Mystery Science Theater. Charles Band's name comes across the screen, and they're like, why would you expect anything good from him? It's like, I don't know. But Puppet Master, oh man, that was a very, very hard saga to get through.
Those movies are so ridiculous.
Yeah, we watched I watched Dolls for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my God, I've never seen. I need to go.
No business being as good as it is.
I need to watch it now because I think I watched was it Puppet Master Little Reich? It's called like the latest one. Littlest Reich, and I think I need yeah. I'm sorry for Killer Dolls. If we're gonna go into Killer Dolls, the Zuni fetish doll from the Trilogy of Terror, Karen Black. I mean, that's the ultimate. That thing still gives me fucking nightmares to this day.
More so than Chucky or Annabelle.
Oh my God, the Zuni fetish doll could kick Chucky's ass up and down. He's got those teeth, and he's little, and he's quick, and he's mean. He's like a little Tasmanian devil. I love him.
Yeah. When is Hasbro going to buy everything like they've been buying Death Row Records? Why don't they buy all these killer doll movies and make more money? I don't know.
Wait, does Hasbro own Death Row?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Dr. Dre, no.
I got Beats money now.
50 Cent wrestling action figures, perfect there.
If Funko Pop did a Zuni fetish doll, I would buy it instantly.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man, why do we?
Did I just lose my cred? Sorry.
Well, if you guys are looking for Pumpkinhead art, I mean, my lovely wife Izzy has the site of untidyvenus.etsy.com, and you can have her picture of Pumpkinhead who loves kittens.
I have a whole set of movie monsters who love kittens.
Why wouldn't Pumpkinhead love kittens? He's a vengeance demon. Who gets revenge on kittens? Nobody would do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, he would love kittens.
So the idea actually came up from we were watching Alien because Steve had only seen the TV edit version, so we were watching the regular one, and it's like, oh yeah, spoiler alert, the Xenomorph never touches Jonesy for all of the sequels, so Xenomorphs must love kittens. And it's like, well, if I do a Xenomorph loves kittens, I gotta do a Predator loves kittens, and then yeah, it just spread from there. And I have a whole bunch of movie monsters who love kittens, and I'm not gonna lie, Pumpkinhead, it came out so great, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, and every time someone sees it at a show, they're like, is that Pumpkinhead? Oh my god, I have to get...
But I love that the Xenomorph picks up the cat carrier and he looks at the cat, and he looks at it like most non-cat people do. When they look at a cat, they're like, what the fuck is this thing? You know, like you guys are obviously cat people. It's like, it's like the non-cat people are like, yeah, we get it, man. We don't get it either.
And I like how they bring that up because the Predator is basically a dog person.
Yeah.
So everybody, all these fucking aliens, man, they got preferences. What's with this?
Just like we all do. Yeah.
Just like people. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. They're unholy, held spawns, but they're, some of them like guacamole, some of them don't.
Maybe the leprechaun likes rats. I don't know. It's each their own,
Yeah. They definitely get along with Ewoks. That's just a rumor, though.
And Ewoks herd hamsters and harvest them for fur and food.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought those were bears. My bad.
Ewoks make me sad because I remember going to see the Return of the Jedi in the theater, and I realized I was growing up because I'm like, what is with these fucking teddy bears? And I was like, because I was when Star Wars came out, I was like 12, so that was like in my wheelhouse. And then Empire Strikes Back, and then Return. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm getting older. Shit. Time to start getting ignored by girls, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Whew. So, how would you rate all four of these before we let you guys go?
Well, I mean, personally, I'd give the original we'll go with an 8. Like, if you're into horror, you're gonna like it.
It's a good solid monster movie.
If you're not into horror, you still may like it, but it's definitely not a given. It's just nice little 90-minute, gets right to the point. The kills are fairly consistent, every 10 minutes or so, and yeah, from what I remember about the sequels, I'd probably give them a 4.
There you go. Yeah, basically it. So, more or less, David, how are you going to rate these?
Yeah, again, I'd give it an 8. I think this. I haven't seen the sequel, so I'm just going on the first one. I think this movie's fantastic. It's for what it is. It's if you go in not expecting King Lear vengeance zombie, it's great. It's Lance Henriksen. You got Buck Flower, and Jeff East, one of the teenagers. He played the young Superman in the Christopher Reeves, the original Superman movie. So that gives which is fantastic. I think it's great. Yeah, 8 out of 10. That's good. It's nice to see a vengeance demon enjoying his work. That's all I'm going to say. Although I guess if you're a vengeance demon, you enjoy your work. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys have pretty much summed up most of the talking points. We usually do a 5-star thing, but fuck it. Let's go with a 6 out of 10. It's just a goofy, just veg in front of the TV kind of movie. Just it's definitely not freaky, but it's definitely the worst of all time. Fuck no. That would be Us. That movie I had to walk out.
Oh no!
Us?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can tell.
Controversial opinions. Hashtag. Right.
I loved it when I saw it, and then like a half an hour later, what the fuck was that movie about?
Wait, you guys didn't like Us?
Well, like I just can't get past
kind of like how Steve wanted more goofy stuff in Get Out. I kind of was like, you know what? Let's just skip to the end credits, see if something goofy happens. Nope. Okay.
No, I liked Us. I liked Us. I did like it, but I don't know the whole thing. But so there's thousands of miles of tunnels under the ground, and there's tens of thousands of people down there, and none of us know about it. I'm not sure how that works.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little more out there than Get Out. Yeah,
it's high. It's high, definitely like high concept, but so here's the thing: like with Us, it's very, very much a monster movie. It follows the monster movie like rules. So if you think of it sort of like a Godzilla movie or like Jaws or something, I think it's almost a little bit more palatable. Like, but I mean, it's also just like super high concept and sort of like, oh, there's an evil government conspiracy where they were gonna control us, and yeah.
Well, and for me, honestly, the reason I think it's still a good movie, even though the premise is completely ridiculous, it's still like you don't know what's going on. Like you're still frightened in some scenes when it's revealed, like you know later in the movie, like what the whole twist of it is. Like, oh well, I mean, I was still like on the edge of my seat for most of the movie and all that, even with the kind of ridiculous things going on.
It's got great suspense scenes.
Even having the twist spoiled in the goddamn trailer.
Oh my god!
Don't you hate that? We were talking about Quarantine the other day, and that was another one where the trailer just gives it away, man. It's like, stop that.
These people who do the marketing clearly don't want us to watch the movie if they're going to give it all away.
Yeah.
I don't watch trailers for that reason. I try and avoid them whenever possible.
I wish I could do that.
You can. It's pretty easy.
I know.
It's not hitting the play button.
See, that's just it. I don't have to press it. My siblings will do that, and then I'll be like, curses, what the fuck, people.
You know, if you want to do something really interesting, go back and watch trailers from older, like much older, like The Omen.
Yeah.
The trailers have really changed through the years. It's really interesting. There were trailers back in the day gave away nothing except generally the overall theme. Now it's like they show you just the best parts from the movie.
They show basically just the close-ups of people's faces and then just the, LaFontaine 70s music.
Yeah, we just saw the Abyss. Like I just put the trailer for that in one of our episodes coming up in December. And yeah, the Abyss, it's Don LaFontaine, like, first James Cameron brought you The Terminator. And then Alien.
Right. He did every trailer. Every trailer.
And then it's like, now he's taking you to the depths of the ocean. And it's like, The Abyss. And I'm like, holy shit, it's going to be the greatest horror movie of all time. It's definitely not going to be 3 hours to see fucking angel aliens underwater.
Like glowing calamari.
And then there's great ones like Night of the Lepus.
Oh my god, I love that movie so much.
God. Yeah, but the trailer and the ads and all of that, you have no idea what it's about. Or like Dogs.
Yes,
we love
coming.
They'll take it serious.
Coming for you. Are you ready? Dogs.
It's funny that you bring up Night of the Lepus. I love that movie when I was a kid.
That movie's great.
I love that.
I can't wait for you guys to cover that one. I can't wait for all these Ed Harris jokes that are sure to be in the Abyss one.
Actually, we got a lot more Michael Biehn and his mustache jokes in that.
Oh my god! Seriously. I mean, who came up with that?
I think he was filming it back to back with Deadfall. I don't know.
Yes, I was gonna say, fun fact, it was actually Michael Bihn's idea because apparently he thought his character would have that mustache to make him more unsettling, and it's like,
it works. Works.
He must have had a cousin who worked on an oil rig for advice. I don't know.
No, I'm just picturing some like costume designer who worked on porn films going, no, beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. Trust me.
We're in honor of Freddie Mercury.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Oh, Freddie.
Wait, was he still around in '89? Damn it.
Yes, he was. I think. Yeah.
Just barely.
That's okay. They can. Those mustaches can coexist.
Oh my God. Either way, you definitely had more fun with that than whatever boring British movie that Brendan had to defend. Oh. And don't get me wrong, he covers some of the best, but then he covers other ones. Is like, yep, they definitely didn't even teach that one at film school. American audiences were not prone to fancy people talking in dress unless it was a Candyman style horror film.
Candyman.
Candyman.
Good movie.
Yes. Yeah. Depending on which person you ask.
That's pretty much true of anything.
I've had to even defend some of the sequels. I like part 2, and yet so many people are like,
Oh yeah, two's pretty good too. Yeah, it was on Netflix the other day. When I watched the first 2, I was like, damn, do I need to watch the rest of them? Yeah, probably not.
No, dude, but I definitely had a lot of fun just joking throughout part 3. It was like, and so basically you took a different movie and then you just put the Candyman in. Perfect.
Yeah. Candyman. Yeah, he's on the Hindenburg now, and now he's storming the beaches of Normandy. But Jordan Peele is doing a remake of it.
Well,
yeah, he's producing it.
Yeah. The trailer is fantastic.
It's a reboot sequel, basically.
Yeah, I've got high hopes for that one.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the trailer, they do this kind of weird shadow puppet art style in the trailer.
David, you're not listening to Izzy. You don't watch the trailer.
But this trailer doesn't give it. Well, I mean, plus you're seeing it's Candyman, so you kind of know the story. But yeah, the trailer's the shadow puppet trailer is really good. That was impressive. I thought.
This is the weirdest Sammy Davis biopic I've ever seen.
Sammy was a badass.
I've never been to.
But I thought he was.
I want to
shorter.
go now.
I thought he was shorter.
Well, I mean, if you want him to be shorter.
So yeah.
Oh,
I love Sammy Davis Jr. Loved him.
Oh no, fear not. We'll definitely get through all the Rat Pack movies eventually.
Yeah, I mean, Sammy, a African American Jewish member of the Rat Pack or the Rat Pack, sign me the fuck up. He was great.
He is definitely the man, but unfortunately, I've had to explain to so many people whenever I see certain comedians doing impressions of people, they never get the damn Sammy Davis impression. I'm like, really? Come on, he's even playing piano. You didn't get that? Okay.
Well, they don't have the glass eye. You gotta have the glass eye to make it work.
I guess. I mean, just the voice alone was a giveaway, but man. Okay, Steve and Izzy, where the hell are you patrolling the interwebs?
Yeah, we're at Everything I Learned from Movies on all of your favorite podcatchers. You can also find our homepage at ageofradio.org/everything I learned from movies. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at EILF Movies. That's Everything I Learned from Movies. Izzy, are you on social media at all?
I am. You can find me everywhere at Untidy Venus. That's a goddess who's bad at housekeeping. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm over on Etsy at untidyvenus.etsy.com. Yeah, I make fun art, and Steve posts amazing memes over at EILF Movies everywhere. So yeah, check us out.
The memes are killing it. The Patreon is killing it. Everything is killer. So.
Yeah, we just did Grizzly 2 for our Patreon exclusive. So,
oh, nice.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well done. I'm glad you got the connect because I mean you conquered. And then when you guys were bringing up that one Eric Bolfer bear movie, I was like, man, I thought that was decent, but I didn't know it got 92 freaking %. Jeez, I guess anything can get near 100. And see, what was even funnier is you guys were asking, is like, we're not sure I'd like that movie. I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, there's not much that happens, but it's kind of entertaining in that, and for precisely that reason. It's just, I kept waiting for Eric Bolfer to get killed Texas Chainsaw style, and it's like, nope, just see his hand.
Just gets bear slap decapitated or whatever at the end.
Right, yeah, there you go. Oh, man. Seeing you guys break down all the Leslie Nielsen factor of all these movies you guys are doing, it's like having to defend it. It's like, man, but yet such interesting trivia. Oh, this is why we suffer through it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I could, man. So, are you ever gonna force yourself to watch a movie with commentary, or do you just feel like, nope, always gotta go the Tubi route like that one?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't need people talking over my movies. Like, I know you get a bunch of fun facts and all that. Honestly, what I would really like on the special features that I never miss, I want the pop-up video of more movies. I want just a little thing to pop up, bloop bloop, like with fun facts and stuff. That would be way better. And then just let me listen to the original audio in that.
Yeah, pop-up video is definitely a trend that should have caught on, and it did not. Yeah, did not last past the
really
MTV era.
Disappointing that didn't catch on more, because that was great.
Yeah, I used to love pop-up video. Even love the theme song. Even love the theme song.
I went
pop-up video, pop it up, pop something.
Pop it up, pop it up, pop it up, pop.
Like a Gary Newman song.
That's true. Well, now I actually would pay to see that. I wasn't Gary Newman, and you're about to watch the most radical movie I've ever made. I made a song off it. So that is kind of an interesting tidbit. Is like the closest you for a while was probably AMC's story notes, but I guess enough people complained they didn't want to see something scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I don't know.
Yeah, some fucking people. Every now and then you'll see someone online complaining about Mystery Science Theater. Oh, those stupid people talk over the movie. It's like,
those
okay,
fuckers, why don't they shut the robot up?
Get back on the small bus and go home.
Right.
Oh, man. Oh. So thank you all for joining David and I. And
yeah, thanks for having us.
Keep drinking through the most unusual movies.
Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you all.
Not coming soon to theaters, Drinking Head.
Oh, shit, Drunkenhead.
Drunkenhead.
From the creators of Drunk History. I don't know.
Drunkenhead, Drunkenhead.
Come get you.
Yeah.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up